All right, let's kick this off. I took a dive earlier, 8K to a pair of 10s. They just jammed and I called from the small blind with 8K and got wiped out. Nothing stellar has happened today. It's been super frustrating. Just nothing holding up. I had some play this morning where I was top stack, a four-handed at a 9-player table, and then bubbled. Every hand I bet, king, queen, king, jack, somebody had a weak ace and would jam all in. And none of my stuff held up, even with a big stack. Remember we talked about variance. Does happen. And I don't feel like they were bad moves either. I feel like I played well, it's just the cards just didn't hold up at all. Looking at it in retrospect, it's frustrating, but I don't feel like I played poorly at all. All right. So you called on the button. It's Jack 10. There's a flush draw. You tell me what you got. Because my AK is a big air ball at the moment. And did I want to keep betting with the air ball? I mean, it's nice that I took it, but that's, again, one of those situations I'm trying to figure out how to play some of this stuff to be able to make it to my advantage. When they check, my tendency is to want to bet if I think I'm remotely ahead, but it's sometimes hard to tell. Putting players on a range at these tables is sometimes going, oh, that would be any two cards. Yeah, there was a hand, the tournament where I went out four-handed. I wound up with a big stack, I think on this one at one point. I think I put somebody all in and I had ace queen. And they called with 2-5 of clubs on a board that didn't connect to anything, by the way. Like it literally, I bet, I think they jammed all in and I went, I guess I'm ahead, and I called. I'm like, why 2-5? What was going on in their world? That was a good play at that moment. Any more exciting, and I'm going to go to sleep at these tables, dying to see what these guys are playing with. The re-raise from late position. It's always the wrong board and the wrong hand. Look, put those together. If we combine those, then we got something. I didn't make it outright. I'm surprised they checked that around. Not super excited about a king high flush. I don't know what the other players got. There was no real betting. You know, could he have 8? Yes. Do I think he does? No. I'm not even sure. I guess he just didn't flash his cards. Because I thought we played that out. Yeah, it just didn't show. Weak. I see the early position raise. That was all I saw. I didn't see their stack size, but I didn't want to get involved anyway. If you'll let me see it cheaply, I will gamble with you guys. Just let me check this. See, my first notion was bet. And then what are they going to think I have? I mean, they could have 5-8. This may be a battle. I like drawing to it. Now, does somebody have the 5 of clubs? Have you beat well? Something different happened? It wasn't the hand that I wanted, but you know, I didn't lose any chips. Okay, I'm gonna flat this. Part of me wanted to re-raise, but I'm concerned about somebody drawing an ace. And king high flush draw. Somebody have an ace of spades? I'm sorry, you know, whatever. Yes. Do I think that's what's going on? Not necessarily. Could they already have 2 spades? Absolutely. This is problematic, and I may have just busted my hand. The kings may not hold up, but we're just going to put it in and see. They could have 2 spades. Yeah. What do I do? And I do this repeatedly. It's like, I don't know how to undo that situation. You know, it's like, they're just not gonna fold. Let's see. I want to see it again. So now that I know kind of what they have. And I mean, let me go back to the beginning and even see, like, would they have let that go at all? Let me check this real quick. Let me bet that. Could they have an ace and a 4? Yes. I'm not sure. I'm assuming I don't think they had the 4, but, you know, maybe they were nervous about the ace at the end. The other table, as I'm reviewing that hand, so let me go back. Okay, early position bet, I flat it. Then the big blind just calls. They both wind up with a flush. I bet the pot. Call, 3 falls, which is inconsequential, and then I jam it. But they both already got it. I mean, if I had re-raised, that's the question to me. Would they have let it go? I mean, my guess is no, they probably would not have. Which is where we get into these, you know, weird situations where I'm not exactly certain I made the right move, but you know, sometimes you just can't prevent the guy from just having a better hand or a better draw. So I was talking about how nothing hits, just like complete air balls. Kings on the button. I flatted instead of re-raising. I don't know. Too many variables. I know that my hands today, for whatever reason, have not been holding up, and we've gone down in bankroll, $15 or so. I only had to take one first place in a 12-player tournament for like $12, so to win that back. But it's frustrating to lose again and again at these toss-ups. Even the 10-10 to 8K, it's like, how do you respond to that? I mean, statistically they're ahead, but how easy is it for you to draw an ace or a king? With a suited ace, had I re-raised, would that guy let it go? And unless I jammed it, probably not. And once he's hit the flop, he's not letting go. Not even sure what the hell that was. I'll play it again. I got a limp, then or not a limp, solid, just standard bet, and then a call. Bet, raise, go. Yeah, queen, jack to ace, queen. I'm gonna call this once. I'm probably way behind. Not that the 9 particularly helps me, but that does. Now by bet sizing, I think less than that. I think something like that'll work. Not super proud of that hand, but hey, didn't lose any chips. Yeah, queen, jack, ace, queen. I mean, you know. Oh, man. I get busted. I try to keep a sense of humor about it. It's like you can't make all the hands work and you can't make the guy fold, and the cards just won't roll out statistically in your favor. Just not always going to happen. If you're trying to win money, you want to play bad players. If you're trying to improve your game, you want to play good players, right? I mean, practice is everything, and I don't know, there's a grind. I see this with students, and I did a podcast yesterday with Carmen Mims. We had conversations about online education, digital distribution, the digital revolution, and the massage industry for education. And so much of what I see as an educator is the students don't want to do the work. And they always want to know, well, how much do I make per hour? It's this thing where I learned how to do what I do by giving it away for a million hours. When I talk about building a bankroll, does it suck when I call my ace king and get popped by Yeah, it sucks, but it's poker. You got to grind your way up. People don't want to do that. They're just want to buy to a higher level. The problem is, do you have the skill to play at that level? You grind your way up and you've got it. I don't kowtow to other educators in my industry, meaning that I don't in any way bow down to them. I've put in the work. I've done it. I know it. I know it internally. I know the work because I've done it. And I've done it again and again. And the students, want me to deliver some rational information that soups up their practice. But again, to me, it's like they don't want to do the work. If I say they're lazy, which I have said before, they get angry, like, how dare you, say I'm lazy? And I'm like, I don't think you guys understand the amount of work I put in. When I talk about the poker game, I'm filming myself. And so far, I delete a lot of stuff where I lose, bubble out, because do people want footage of those 5 tournaments? It's not fun. It's not exciting. I spent 2 hours yesterday doing some essentially software work. So I have a Shopify store, a Teachable school, and I use Zapier to connect these. There was literally, I couldn't get something to work and I couldn't figure out why. There was an ampersand instead of the word and. The software couldn't connect because of that. I spent 2 hours going through, looking at stuff, changing settings, and the students are like, well, where's my stuff? They don't think for 2 seconds about how the information is delivered, where it comes from, what it took for me to shoot it, anything along those lines. And I can't expect the students to know. I mean, my work has not scaled, but when I talk about the amount of work, I'm doing the same thing in poker. I don't, it's that Karate Kid shit, the wax on, wax off. Nah, Mr. Miyagi, you're just having me do your chores. When I talk about the students being lazy, they don't think about the time I spent making a podcast, the time I spent making and editing video, the time I spent uploading YouTube videos, the time I spent making workbooks, DVDs, website, infrastructure, like all this stuff. They just, well, how much do I get paid per hour? That is a employee question, not an entrepreneur question. Does Elon Musk sit down and figure out what he makes per hour? He didn't get paid by the hour. You know, if you want to skip steps, sure, if you've got the bankroll to do it, you know, I'm not gonna begrudge it. I'll flat this. I had to look at that for a second. So, you know, I don't begrudge people's natural skill or capacity or like I'm not blocking. It's just what I see consistently isn't that students lack skill or they lack capacity to master what I'm teaching or do what I'm doing or anything else. They lack the gumption long term to overcome adversity and poverty to be able to create what I've created. I mean, I'm filming myself playing poker. Why? What does this have to do with my business? Because I do talk about business stuff. Now, students aren't going to sit down and watch this necessarily. This is entertainment for my social media, but my poker game and the way I approach business are very similar. Tight, aggressive. Right hand, right situation, bet. And they go, well, how did Robert Gardner win? It's like, it was not because of my stellar personality or my good looks. It's because I solved a problem. And I worked harder at it than everybody else. It's not a glorification of manual labor, by the way. Manual labor is good and is character building in some ways, but I don't want people to work just for the sake of working, like there's some glory in that. Could be much trouble. King, Queen, King, Jack, they're good drawing hands. They connect to a lot of stuff. And the aggression to my left, because I am definitely afraid of calling. I mean, they could have any two cards at this table, just like the last one I busted out of. Now, that was a more solid bet. I'm not interested in calling that. Just moving chips around. I think anybody can learn to do it. You know, the grind, it's not fun. It's oh, this is a lot of hard work. And I go, yes. Do the students think about where that workbook came from? Who wrote it? Who put it together? Took the photos? They're like, well, I can't even watch what's in the vault. I'm like, I know. And not only did I put together that vault, but I'm in all the videos in that 800-hour vault. The two guys to my left, I'm not in love with this on the button, but I'm probably going to bet and see how they were. Now, do I want to call in position with King 10? All right. Two prior, yeah. Let's see something. Now, who says they got it? Because I do not. Nor do I suspect an 8 and a 9 is going to fall, giving me the straight of my dreams. I do not want to keep going. He took down a pot. Now let me watch this again. And maybe the King 10 wasn't a great play, but the flop was not with me. Bet, 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 call. Bet, bet, fold. Bet, all in, call. Huh. Ace and a 9. Nobody hit anything. And I would like to note that I would have rivered a 10. Now, did I want to bet like, no, absolutely not. Not a good move. If I had a bigger stack and a bigger stack. If I had a big stack and could hang out for a while, maybe. Otherwise, no. I'll flat check. I'll bet it out here. They got a big stack. Yeah. So it's like, to me, it's more like they're leveraging their stack than the cards they're necessarily holding. They've had pretty decent holdings in prior hands, and I don't know if I want to keep going with my stack size. So I'm just going to let that go. You know, I got to choose a spot to take a stand in, and I just don't think that's one. I was hoping they would just let it go. And I don't like this defensive poker, but I just don't have much of a stack. And like, what hands have I had, you know? Not much. This is a cheap flop, if I'm allowed it. Yeah, big stack is just leaning, using his chips. One more and we're in the money. I'd rather be patient since the big stack is likely going to start leaning even more on folks. At this stage, to make the money sounds glorious in a 9-player. It's been a funky day. I think that's enough for a bet. Don't like it, but we're going to bubble out if we don't do something soon. Oh, looks like this is it, folks. What ace you got? Pair of 4s. Now, how many times have I folded hands to that? I ask you, oh dear viewers of this. Okay, I'm gonna flat. I got a little more stack now. Do not like, I mean, nothing connected. Just ace high is not enough to battle this guy. I'd rather let it go. Let him know that I will push back depending on the holding a little bit. If it folds to me, I will bet and let him bet to his death. But straight fold is nice. Pair of fours. Man, whatever. Okay. I will bet here. Don't like it, but big stack is out of the way. Does somebody else want to jeopardize their stack? I have an ace. You may have a higher ace or something. And I did not bubble. Good day to you, sir. Good game. I made the money. I made like 70 cents. Man, oh yeah, sweet baby. That's right. 70 cents. Oh, here he comes. Just rolling on in. I'll flat it. Did not connect in any meaningful way. You could bet and I'll fold. I know you're excited about that. Oh, yes. There we go. I would like to get hands up and be much more aggressive there. He's not even min betting. He's actually betting like small amounts because he's got enough of a stack to do it. I don't want to call with that. Man, just a whole lot of nothing, huh? Whole lot of nothing. I might lose here, but you know, I called a 9. Why not? I did have 7. I don't like the 6. I don't like the kicker. He's cornering the two of us. The other stack seems very, well, this is one of those I'm like, 'cause part of me wanted to fold this, and I go, you have an ace? Okay, I'll call that. And did not hold up. And this is going in. We're just going to make 70 cents here, unless this doesn't work out. Hated losing to 6s, but, you know, like, well, I have ace-7. I don't know if, I mean, you're three-handed. You gotta bet something. They've got it, they've got it. You're only gonna make 70 cents. Oh well. Well, you just took down another pot. And you're scaring them because you're jamming all in. With unknown holdings. And you see how just nothing connects? My 2 is super weak. I don't see a real reason to continue that. It was marginal as a call to begin with. And just my hands are just not connecting with the board. I don't want to continue with the ace. I think it's too marginal. Here he goes. 2 times the big blind. A little bit more. I'll let it go. I'll respect your hefty bet there, sir. He's betting more on me, which I find a little offensive. And the only reason I've not fought back is just my hands just aren't fucking connecting with the board. And still let it go. Figured if I jammed, it was either going to be a huge fail or a huge win. At least if I just standard bet, maybe they'd let it go. Now this is a little better. I will flat you with Queen Jack, sir. Man, see the fucking ace. Let's just check here and see if it improves. It does not. Let's see if they want to bet it out now. And I am not super interested. There is a flush draw, 2-5 ace. I just didn't connect with anything. Don't think it's worth fighting. Just got to double up once, heavily back in the game. Let me limp here and see if this gets a different result. It's a good hand for me. And if I wasn't going to get any action after that, like how was I going to get action with a bet? Like a, 3 times the big blind bet. And they're playing so like tightly. Yeah, see, I didn't like it for that fact, but I was wondering if they would just check it down. Didn't want to call a raise with it, or a shove, I should say. Come on in with 2 times the big blind. Because I'm not calling with it. I appreciate your big chip size and stack there. But let's see. I think this is good enough. I mean, what are they going to do? You're going to call me? You got an ace? No, you are not. It's time to start ramming jamming it. Don't have much left. Couldn't get a call on the queens. Couldn't get a call on the kings. And that's an assault to his ego. 2 times the big blind. Two times the big blind, then a jam. Is he ahead? The world may never know. This may be it. No brush. Thank you. Sometimes AK will hold. I'm concerned about a jam from the small blind. I'd prefer to get out of the way. This should be interesting. He won back some stack. Took down the big stack a hair. Wow, he actually folded a hand to me. I'm so proud. Like, you actually let one go. And I'll limp this. I want to test whether they're going to check or, yeah, they'll do some jam. I was pretty much planning like I wasn't going to call if they were going to jam that way. It's a thing where, they don't want me to do that to them. But since I know he'll do that, what happens when I get aces or kings and I limp? which I think can be a valuable thing to do here, which is also why I'm doing that. Now, does the big stack call? Because I will probably also like jam my whole stack in over this, but let's see what happens. Queen Jack again. Do I get a king? Oh, I had an ace though. Do I love it? No, it's risky, but hey, it took him down. Now what? What you got, sir? Just me and you. It's gonna be bloody. It's gonna be my blood. Call it. Call it. I don't understand. Don't know what the fuck he might have been holding. That min bet is trash, but he let it go. If you check it, I will bet. Then you can jam it all in because I'm lying. Or not. Now, while the fold, all of a sudden heads up. This might be one of those things where the guy doesn't play well heads up, and I'm very confused by this. If you bet 2 times the big blind or limp, I will let you see a flop inexpensively, sir. Yes, I will. And then I will bet 200 right back at you because you have an ace or a king. You're afraid of me drawing out on you. The 7 was inconsequential. You could still have the ace or the king. If you bet 600 or more, no, that's not enough. Okay, so no flush draws. I got a 10. It's half the pot. I'll bet that. Was wondering if he was about to go berserk and jam it all in. Ready? Here we go. See, it's like aggressive big stack and then passive heads up. I've seen this so many times and I can't figure out what it is because maybe because I play a lot of hands pre-flop, I have a better sense of the statistics of certain holdings where when you're heads up, you've reduced, variables. They're not super happy with I'll call this once, I'll flat it. I did not catch an 8. He did potentially catch like a really good draw. My kicker is not good. I would just let that one go, wait for a better spot. I would like first. I appreciate the fold. If I know that he'll fold the 2 times the big blind, I'm going to start betting 2 times the big blinds. How does he respond? That will be a no, sir. You will have to pry it from my cold dead hands with whatever pair of queens or higher you have. I'll flat this. Ooh, I'm going to check and pray for a 10. Do not like the board at all, especially to his bet. So the only thing that could help me would be the 10. I'm more concerned that he's ahead and I'm just putting, more chips that aren't going to allow me to connect to anything to fight back. 2 and a 5. I will flat. That was a nice hand for me. I will min bet. I will jam it now, bluffing that I have the king. You will call with some piece of trash and lose. And also, I was hoping that he did not, was trying to draw to a flush. If he starts getting testy and raising or jamming for my 2 times the big blind, then I'm going to have to recalibrate. I don't like it, but I'll flat. Nothing connects. The ace and the king, it just, there's nothing around the range of my hand. If he's nervous, you know, he could have a complete trash hand, but do I want to call when nothing's connected the board? I used to have that problem. I almost wanted to call with a complete air ball because I'm like, I got higher cards. And I'm like, dude, you don't have anything. Like, you have a big nothing. Could crack me with an ace here, but head. Oh, flat. I'm worried about the 10. The jack did not improve my situation or holding. It may be more passive than I want it to be, but I don't like having just the 4 to be able to lean on him. I will do something with this. If you have your flush, and just a min bet, right? Like, no telling what he actually had. The reason I only bet 300 chips more initially was I didn't want to scare him off. That's better. Now I've got something that connected. If he had king 9, I'm screwed here. Man, if he had AK, there's no flush. He may have this. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what was going on. I just know I took the pot. Oh, I'll just limp in and see what happens here. If he bets back at me at all, I'm going to let it go. Okay, I'm going to flat this just on the strength of the 2. I will check, praying for a 7, which I did not get. Could he have a 9? I'll just check it down. Okay, well, it's better than nothing. He has nothing to fight back with now. He's got to double up very fast. I'm just going to flat this. I don't like my hand, but do I catch an 8? No, we chopped it though, which I, you know, compared to losing, I'm better with. I will flat this as well. It's horrible holdings. If he jams, I'll call again. I just have a huge stack. You know, part of me wants to just call this as a fluke. I think I'm going to hold off until I've got a better holding. I mean, it was pretty much a joke hand to begin with. I'm far enough ahead. I'd prefer to keep my chip lead massive against him. I'll call. Not super, but you know, what do you do? I was ahead. And I try to maintain a little bit of passivity You know, if he jams this, little different story. The 3 gives me something. Also, if he doesn't have an ace or a king, he's likely going to be afraid of this. The 7 did not help. I will check here. Don't know what he's got. If he's got the ace of the, well, okay, he had a weaker 3. I will flat. That is strong enough for my hand. Jam it. And we did it. Now, I know it's only 450, but it was a win. We beat some people. We actually didn't lose every fucking hand we played. It was nice. You guys have a good one.